Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host. Now, before we get started, please follow me on Twitter at @SensTalk_, and on Instagram at SensTalk. Now, today's video is going to be a little different than most videos. I wasn't able to watch the first and second period, so to do the first period recap, Noah Luden, Vice President of Sens Talk, will be filling in, and the second period will be covered by Alex Metzger of the Last Word on Sens podcast, which I'm featured on, by the way. I was on the last episode. I highly encourage you checking that podcast out. But yeah. So Noah Luden will be doing the first period. Alex Metzger will be doing the second period, and then I'll be doing the third period because as I'm speaking anyways, the third period is on right now. So I just want to get this video out for you guys, so I appreciate Noah Luden and Alex Metzger helping me out in that instance. Now, the Sens last played a couple days ago against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lost that one 3-2. Now, tonight they're playing the Winnipeg Jets, and so far, so good. I'm watching the game. They're playing pretty well. But this game is without Tim Stützle. Tim Stützle was injured in the last game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, many of you guys probably remember in the latter minutes of my video yesterday, I spoke about how Tim Stützle, got cross-checked and interfered with by Jake Muzzin. Now, I'll put it on the screen here, it looks like that play injured Tim Stützle. He's day-to-day. Now, the good thing is the coaches are saying it's mostly precautionary, and he should be back soon. It's nothing to worry about. But the point is, Jake Muzzin just injured a player, and he faced no repercussion from that. No pushback, nothing. No penalty, nothing. He had no discipline from injuring Tim Stützle. So, I'm not saying it was intentional, but there needs to be better officiating in the NHL in the story. So Tim Stützle is out day to day. Hopefully he'll be back soon. But the coaches seem to say it's very minor, so I wouldn't be too worried, but that is something to definitely monitor during the season. Now, the Game 3 lineup's a little different, especially because Stützle's out. So the first line, it's still Brady Tkachuk with Josh Norris and Drake Batherson, but Galchenyuk draws in to where Tim Stützle was on the second line left wing position. He's in there with Derek Stepan and Evgeny Dadonov. That line did well tonight, and Alex Galchenyuk will talk about, well, I guess Noah will talk about him later. He's been doing very nice. Paul, Turney, and Brown is the third line. Nick Paul has had another good game, to be honest. Nick Paul has been very, very good, and he's solidifying himself as an NHL forward. The fourth line, this is where I get a little upset. Cedric Paquette, Artem Anisimov, and Austin Watson is your third line. Why is Paquette still in the lineup? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. Colin White should be there for Paquette, especially after the stupid penalties that Paquette took back-to-back games. Now, today, I don't think Paquette has done anything horrendous, but the point is, why is White, who should be in the top 12, he should be starting on this team, why is he still getting scratched over a guy like Paquette? I just don't understand it. Or even an Artem Anisimov. I just don't understand it. Or an Austin Watson. The defense is Shabbat and Goodbranson with Riley and Zaitsev, and then Coburn and Josh Brown. As we said, injured Tim Stützle. He should be back soon, though. Wouldn't be too worried. And scratched Colin White. Very, very perplexing, to say the least. But besides that, ladies and gentlemen, let's head to the first period recap with Vice President of Sens Talk, Noah Luden. Let's get to there right now.
All right, thanks, Brandon. And so if you guys don't know me, I'm the Vice President of Sens Talk, Noah Luden, and I'm just going to give a little brief summary of how the first period went. So we're at the first intermission now, so just a quick few notes. So it started with the Mason Appleton chance, and after that it was really all Ottawa for the first 5 minutes. They were out shooting the Jets 10-1. Galchenyuk had a good chance, it just hit it wide. Mike Riley had a chance, and it was stopped by Brossoit, and they drew a penalty from the Jets. So the Sens get to keep on building this momentum, and early in the power play, 4:41 into the period, Norris tries to center a pass to Brady Tkachuk in front, who's always just doing whatever he wants in front of the net, but it goes off of Laurent Brossoit's stick into the net, and that is Josh Norris's first NHL goal, and that is 1-0 for the Sens, as it was assisted by Drake Batherson. And then in the penalty kill, Ottawa took a penalty, and on the penalty kill, Branson blocked a shot from, I think it was Kyle Connor. It hit him really hard in a place where there's not much padding, probably on the knee, and he limped right off to the locker room. He came back and tried to fight it out, but he ended up going back to the locker room, and here we are at the first intermission. So that's what we know about Branson. Now, jump up a little bit, halfway through, about 9:30 left in the period, Zaitsev sends this shot, and I'm thinking that it's just a floater, it's just going to miss, and it's going to wrap around the boards, but it gets tipped by Connor Brown, but then it gets tipped again by Chris Tierney, and that's 2-0 Ottawa, because it gets right past Laurent Brossoit, and so that's Tierney getting the second goal of the year for him, assisted by Connor Brown and Nikita Zaitsev, and just like that, Ottawa's been pouring on the shots, and they are up 2-0, but They couldn't hold that 2-goal lead for long as Pionk sends his own floater to the net. 2 minutes left in the period, and it gets tipped by Adam Lowry. It looked to me like it might have been a high stick, but it didn't get reviewed, so here we are. It goes past Matt Murray, who's playing his third straight game, and it's 2-1 Ottawa, and that's where we go at the intermission. Mason Appleton picked up the other assist, and now we are at the intermission. Sens are out shooting the Jets 18-9, so they're really going crazy. Hope they can keep the pressure on, hope they can keep the momentum, and now we get to go to Alex for the second period summary.
Hey guys, Alex here filling in for the second. If you don't know me, I cover the Sens for lastwordonhockey.com, where you can find both my podcasts. I also gif every Sens game on Twitter at NHL Sens and stuff, so you can find me there as well. So let's get right into the second period. It's been a great game so far. After 40, the shots are 32-17 in favor of Ottawa. The shot attempts, Ottawa's also favoring. I think it's about 32-23 when last time I checked, and they have 67% of the expected goals. So they've really been dominating this game in every way. So let's recap that second real quick. It started off on the penalty kill. Connor Brown made a great play to kill a penalty. Batherson forced a power play, and I thought throughout the period they got I think they had 3 power play looks, and the Tkachuk, Norris, Batherson, Chabot power play looked really, really good. Tkachuk tried it between the legs, but it was the second unit that gets it done. Galchenyuk with an absolute blast. The assists go to Mike Riley and Derek Stepan. This is Galchenyuk's first as a Sen, obviously, in his first game. It'll be interesting to see if this keeps him in the lineup. Just an absolute rocket, and I think listening to it without sound doesn't do it justice, because there is a ping. It honestly reminds me of how Mike Hoffman used to shoot the puck a couple of years ago. It was just an absolute laser beam. And then after that, unfortunately, Austin Watson takes a slashing penalty in the neutral zone. Not the greatest penalty I've ever seen, just a bit of a lazy play, and that leads to a Winnipeg Jets power play, which is very dangerous. And it ends up, the puck ends up on the stick of Kyle Connor, wide open on a cross-crease pass, who buries it. Matt Murray had no chance. Despite that, he was still pretty close to getting the puck. Great effort by him. I thought his whole games looked really good, but after 40, it's a 3-2 game, and it'll be interesting to see if Ottawa can close this out, because they've earned it so far. I thought that was a really solid period from most players there. Batherson looked great. Tkachuk looked really good. Chabot Zaitsev continues to look strong. So we'll continue to see where this goes. But yeah, hopefully the third continues the same way.
All right, thank you to Noah and Alex for the first and second period recaps. I am back, ladies and gentlemen, for the third period, and what an interesting third period that was. After dominating the first 40 minutes, the Ottawa Senators, in Ottawa Senator fashion, decided in the third period that they would just sit back and try to defend their 3-2 lead. That doesn't happen often. You don't usually get to defend a 3-2 lead for a whole period and get out of that period still with that 3-2 lead for the win. Usually what happens is, and which is what happened here, you sit back, you let the other team build momentum throughout the period, and then they score a goal in the last 5 minutes. This is what always happens, and this is why I will routinely say, and I will say it until the day I die, that if you are up by a goal starting the third period, there is no reason for you not to be continually putting offensive pressure on the other team. That's what the Senators did not do in this period. The coaching staff, I'd assume, told the team to drop back, play defensively. That always costs you. Every single time it costs you, and it does here, because Ottawa sat back that whole third period. After dominating the first 40 minutes, the last 20, most important of a game, they lost that 20 minutes. With a minute 17 left in the game, sitting back, playing defensive in the third period, came back to bite them as Morrissey from the point slapped it past Matt Murray to tie the game. After all the great work the Ottawa Senators did for the first 40 minutes, the last 20 minutes cost them, specifically the last minute and a half. Josh Morrissey, the Jets tied at 3-3. Now we go to overtime now, and this is what really pisses me off, because you can blame the coaching, you can blame the players for the third period. It's obviously the coach's fault in the third period, the coaching staff's fault in the third period for telling the players to play defensively. The players don't decide how to play the systems, the coaches do. So that's on the coaches. And I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying the same thing as me. This loss is on the coaches, because in overtime, the Senators did not do really anything offensive. Every single time they had an opportunity in the offensive zone, they just skated back out into the neutral zone or passed it back out into the defensive zone. Now, I understand that, of course. You need to look for offensive chances, and if you don't find one, go back, try to create another play. But Ottawa, even when they had chances to get the passes going, they kept on going into the neutral zone. They didn't do anything. It looked stupid, sloppy, terrible. Definitely one of the worst overtime periods I've seen Ottawa play. Which is weird because they were really good on the power play today. So you think with all that extra space they do well. And then for some reason the coaches put the fourth line center Artem Anisimov on the ice in overtime. Artem Anisimov is one of the slowest players on this forward group for the Ottawa Senators. And in 3-on-3, you need to be fast in order to do well in overtime. With all that ice on 3-on-3, you have all that open space. It's a great asset. In fact, it's necessary in overtime in the NHL these days to be a fast skater, which Artem Anisimov is not. The Jets end up winning this game 4-3 in overtime, and I'm going to blame the coaches on this one because if it wasn't for them putting Artem Anisimov on, Ehlers would not have been so open to get that beautiful pass, to get the beautiful goal past Matt Murray to win it 4-3, as you're seeing it on the screen here. So essentially what happened is, as you can see, Artem Anisimov, he's at the blue line. Ehlers is right here. So if it's a Josh Norris or whatever, he catches up right away. But Artem Anisimov is a slow skater, so he never gets back to Ehlers, who leaves him, which essentially leaves Ehlers alone. Matt Murray's not going to stop that puck, and the Jets steal. They don't win. They steal this one. They win it 4-3 in overtime. It's not Artem Anisimov's fault that he's a slow skater, but it's the coaching staff's fault for putting him on the ice. I don't understand that. Why are you putting him on the ice? Why is Josh Norris not out there? I don't understand it. There were so many coaching mistakes in this game, in my opinion, and I still like DJ Smith as a coach. I rave about him often. I think he's a great coach. But he needs to improve the game plan. He needs to improve the game plan because tonight's game plan was terrible and can't happen again because this is a game Ottawa should have won. And the third period in overtime game plan was terrible. The first two periods, offensively, Ottawa dominated. They were great. Coaching staff did a good job. But the last period in overtime, just total disaster. And you really got to clean that up. But besides that, let's get to the Sens Talk Star of the Night, voted by you, the fans. So let's get into it. I'm going to refresh the page. It's currently 10:12. I put the vote up at 9:40. So we are 32 minutes away. So let's get into it. We got 126 votes in 30 minutes. So let's get into it. So 4-star with 4% of the vote, Nikita Zaitsev. Third place with 12% of the vote, Drake Batherson. Second place, this was a really close vote, ladies and gentlemen. Second place with 40% of the vote, Josh Norris, scoring his first NHL goal. Congratulations to Josh Norris. And the first star with 44% of the vote, Alex Galchenyuk. 44. That's one of the closest Sens Talk Star of the Nights we've had in recent history. But congratulations to Alex Galchenyuk on becoming the Sens Talk Star of the Night. By the way, breaking news. I tried to hold my composure as I announced that. I'm going to double check this. John Morosi just tweeted something out about the Blue Jays. I think they just signed George Springer. The Blue Jays are now the front runners to sign George Springer. Let's go, Blue Jays. I just want, if you're a Blue Jays fan, that fires me up. I had to say that during it. But yeah, congratulations to Alex Galchenyuk, Sens Talk Star of the Night. Now, the next Sens game is on Thursday in 2 days against the Winnipeg Jets again at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We will have a full game recap for that one as well, so I'll see you then. Besides that, thank you all for watching. Please follow us on Twitter at SensTalk_, and on Instagram at SensTalk. Besides that, as well, go to senstalk.ca, our website, and of course, be sure to like this video, share this video wherever you share cool stuff, and of course, click the big red button down there and subscribe to us, and turn the notification bell on so you get notified whenever we make a new video. Besides that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you Thursday night. Go Sens, go.